Farcaster just dropped a fucking bombshell. 10,000 pro memberships sold out in under 6 hours, raising $1.2 million to supercharge its decentralized social revolution. But before we dive in, did you know that 60% of you aren't following us across all our socials? If you like the show, do us a huge favor and hit that subscribe button on this app you're listening to us now and collect our episodes on pods.media. Your support means the world. Thanks, guys.
All right, let's unpack this. Today, we are taking a deep dive into that headline grabbing from Farcaster, this incredibly rapid pro membership sale. We've pulled together insights, the network data itself, and notes detailing the vision powering it all.
That's right. And our mission for this deep dive, really, is to understand why this moment is being highlighted as a potential game changer.
Yeah.
It seems like more than just a quick sale. It's being framed as a pretty significant step forward for the future of decentralized social media. So we're going to explore what makes it so different. And the best place to start is probably with the raw numbers, because they really do tell a compelling story. The sources we looked at, well, they shout about 10,000 yearly subscriptions selling out in under 6 hours. And at $120 each, that brings in a clean $1.2 million. Pretty impressive speed.
And what's particularly fascinating from a technical perspective is how the funds were raised. It was all done via USDC on base. And get this, the total gas fees for the entire sale were less than $10.
Wait, less than $10 for the whole $1.2 million?
Exactly. This all just happened May 27th. It's a really powerful demonstration of layer 2 efficiency for these kinds of large-scale transactions.
That feels genuinely revolutionary compared to, traditional payment systems or even older blockchains. And according to the reports, this $1.2 million isn't just like capital for the team, right? These funds are specifically earmarked to fuel weekly USDC rewards, distributed directly to users and devs.
Correct. It's meant to go back into the ecosystem, directly to users creating content and developers building on the platform. Oh, and there was also a limited edition NFT included for those first 10,000 subscribers.
An NFT, does it do anything special?
No. The sources make it clear it's purely a collectible item. No extra utility or perks attached. Just a nice way to recognize those early supporters, And importantly, for transparency, the data set detailing all of the sale transactions, it's available on-chain now for anyone to look at.
Transparency baked right in. You love to see it. And just to give context to the scale we're talking about here, the network stats from the sources show Farcaster isn't some tiny beta test. We're talking over 650,000 users already, more than 116 million customers. Those are basically posts, and over 19,000 hubs running.
Right. Those hubs are the decentralized servers storing the off-chain cast data. They're kind of the backbone. So, yeah, it's not just the future idea. It's a live, active network that's seeing real usage and has clear growth potential.
Okay, so the sale was incredibly fast, super efficient, raised significant funds, and those funds have a clear purpose tied to rewarding the community. But you said earlier it's being called huge and a game changer. Why? Why is this moment potentially something fundamentally different or bigger than just, a successful funding round?
Yeah, that really gets to the core question about Farcaster's whole philosophy. If you connect this sale to the bigger picture, Farcaster isn't just trying to build a slightly better Twitter or Instagram. Their fundamental vision is about completely rethinking and rebuilding the social system from the ground up.
Rebuilding the system?
Yeah.
Okay. How does the tech actually support that idea?
Well, it's built on optimism, which is a major layer 2 for Ethereum. The core idea is that your identity on Farcaster, your profile, is stored on-chain. This gives you genuine self-custody, real security over your digital self.
Okay, identity on-chain. What about posts?
Right, the posts themselves, the casts, they're stored off-chain. They use that network of decentralized hubs we mentioned. That off-chain storage gives it the speed and scalability it needs to feel like a normal social app. But the key insight here, the really important part, is that because your core identity isn't controlled by one company, no one can just unilaterally ban you. And they can't steal or sell your data because you hold the cryptographic keys. You're in control.
Okay. So that decentralized ownership and censorship resistance, that's fundamental. And that $1.2 million feeds back into supporting that model.
Exactly. The pro membership funding directly fuels that decentralized ownership-based approach. That $1.2 million isn't going into shareholder pockets. It's dedicated to funding those weekly USDC rewards we talked about. It ensures the value generated on the platform by users making great posts, by developers building cool apps. It gets paid back directly to them. It completely flips the traditional social media model where all the value goes to the platform itself.
And the cost to even get started seems pretty low too, which fits with that idea of being open. A $5 sign-up fee or even $3 with an invite, and interacting costs almost nothing, like under $0.002 per transaction.
Pennies or fractions of pennies. That accessibility is absolutely critical if you want genuine global scale and reach.
Yeah.
Something else significant, remember Warpcast?
Yeah, that was their main app, right?
Right, but now Warpcast redirects to farcaster.xyz. It's a deliberate shift. They're positioning Farcaster as the underlying protocol, the decentralized infrastructure, not just one app built on it. It's like saying, this is the foundation for everyone, aiming for easier onboarding for, well, non-crypto folks. The source called them normies, making it feel more familiar.
Right, prioritizing the plumbing over just one fancy faucet. Makes sense. And that idea of being a foundational protocol, that naturally leads into thinking about global reach, building communities. If it's cheap, open infrastructure, theoretically, anyone, anywhere could connect.
Precisely. Those near-zero gas fees, they remove a massive financial barrier. It genuinely makes global participation feasible. It means someone in, say, Lagos can interact just as easily and affordably as someone in Lisbon. There's no cost difference based on where you are.
And the source material really emphasizes the community hubs, or channels, describes them as spaces for basically any niche you can think of. NFTs, DeFi, memes, hobbies, like a global water cooler where anyone can find their people.
Exactly. These channels let organic communities pop up and thrive around shared interests, breaking down geographical barriers. Plus, you've got notable figures actually using the platform, like Vitalik Buterin, Jesse Pollack. That lends a lot of credibility and pulls in attention from the wider tech and crypto world.
Yeah, seeing big names involved definitely adds weight.
And then you have the mini apps. The sources explain how these turn regular posts into dynamic, interactive experiences right there in the feed. Things like joining a live audio chat, or maybe even minting an NFT directly from a post. It brings social interaction to life globally in a new way.
Right, it's not just reading, it's doing things together in the feed.
Exactly. It adds a whole layer of interactivity.
Okay, speaking of mini apps, let's dive into some actual examples. What's being built? Because this seems like where Farcaster feels really vibrant. The sources called them playgrounds built into posts.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it. They allow for real utility and interaction right where you're scrolling. So, examples, there's spaces built by Mo. It's basically an on-chain clubhouse. Live audio chats happening right in the feed.
So you could just stumble into a live podcast or a discussion while scrolling. That sounds genuinely different for social media.
It really is. Then there's Pods, which lets you listen to entire podcasts directly in the feed. And for writers, there's a Paragraph mini app. Readers can consume whole newsletters without leaving Farcaster. That's a big win for creators wanting engagement on the platform.
Smart. Reducing friction for longer content. What about fun stuff? Community things.
Oh, yeah. There's a popular Guess the Movie game built totally around clues and casts. There's the GM Farcaster mini app. You can watch their live show. We also saw mentions of things like at Mintictile lets you turn your casts into NFTs.
Minting your own posts. Interesting.
Yeah. And at BountyBot for creating tasks. At Indexer for AI-powered search through casts. Lots of tools emerging.
And I saw Degenbot mention tracking Divillion swaps. What's the deal with the token?
Right, the Divillion token is pretty central to Farcaster's tipping economy. It's used for direct tipping between users. Plus, there are day allocations and airdrops tied to engagement, rewarding active participation. It's a community-driven value layer.
Okay, so you've got the tipping, which is maybe more informal, and the structured weekly USDC rewards funded by those pro memberships we started with.
Yes, exactly. 2 layers of value flow. The USDC rewards provide that more direct, predictable payment loop. They incentivize users for quality content and, crucially, developers for building and driving usage of their mini apps. It creates this powerful flywheel effect, hopefully. Rewards attract builders and users. They make cool stuff that attracts more users, making rewards more impactful, and it keeps going, driving innovation from the community up. It suggests a strong belief in Farcaster, not just as another social app, but as a fundamental building block for whatever comes next in Web3.
Okay, so Farcaster's clearly got serious momentum, lots of innovation happening, and the community just showed major buy-in with the pro sale. But let's be real, like any ambitious project, there are got to be roadblocks. What challenges did the source material highlight?
Yeah, it's definitely important to have that balanced view. Despite the recent wins, there have been noticeable dips in core engagement metrics. The daily casts dropped from a peak, maybe around 600,000, down to 250,000. And monthly active users fell from about 80K to 35K over 6 months at one point. Now, numbers fluctuate, but sustaining high engagement is always a challenge.
That kind of drop is definitely something to keep an eye on. What else?
Well, the competitive space is just incredibly crowded. You've got other decentralized players like Lens and Nostar. You've got Bluesky gaining traction. And then there's the massive incumbent X. Farcaster needs to keep its edge and clear value prop.
And user experience. Especially with Web3 stuff, that's always a tough nut to crack for mainstream users.
Absolutely.
Makes sense. And as it grows, managing all that data must get more complicated.
Correct. Scaling pains are almost inevitable with growth. The total network data stored on those hubs is growing nearly 150 gig will be mentioned. So that decentralized hub system needs to keep evolving to stay robust, fast, and affordable as the load increases.
And finally, the elephant in the room for any crypto project, regulation.
Yeah, that's a big unpredictable one. The legal landscape is shifting all the time, especially in the U.S. where Farcaster has strong ties. Future regulations could definitely pose challenges or require some tricky adjustments.
So real challenges: engagement, competition, UX, scaling, regulation. That's a hefty list. But the source material does emphasize they have serious resources to tackle these problems.
Yes, that $150 million series around, led by Paradigm, gives them significant, ammo. That's serious capital to invest in development, UX improvements, scaling the infrastructure, business development, and navigating the legal stuff. It buys them time and options.
Yeah, $150 million definitely suggests they're ready for the long haul to overcome those hurdles. Speaking of the long haul, what's actually next on the roadmap? What can users and devs expect looking forward?
The roadmap seems pretty ambitious. For those new pro members, immediate perks are planned. Things like much longer casts, up to 10,000 characters.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. And the ability to include up to 4 images per post, plus introducing ways to gift subscriptions in smaller, maybe $10 monthly chunks, making it easier to bring people in.
More expression, richer media, easier gifting, sensible pro features.
Beyond that, they're looking into integrating some cutting-edge Web3 concepts, like AI agents, bots acting autonomously on the network.
AI and zero-knowledge privacy tech mixed into social networking. Okay, that feels genuinely futuristic.
It does. And they're pushing ecosystem expansion, too. Integrations with other big chains like Solana and Arbitrum, using tools for smoother onboarding, making wallets less scary. Plus, other apps built using Farcaster, like Recaster or Farcord, are still part of that broader vision to widen access and utility.
So not just building on Farcaster, but connecting Farcaster out to the wider world.
Exactly. And the stated big vision. It's explicitly a long-term, decade-long plan. The goal is to make Farcaster the core social backbone of Web3, blending social stuff with DeFi and creator tools, a truly integrated experience.
A 10-year plan, that's serious commitment, speaks volumes about their ambition.
It really does. The overall goals seem clear, encourage even more mini apps, build deeper integrations across Web3, and really push for mainstream adoption. Make decentralized social appealing to everyone.
Okay, let's try and bring this all together. We've covered the lightning-fast $1 $2 melon sale, the decentralized vision, the mini-app innovation, the global potential, community building, but also the real challenges, engagement dips, competition, all that. What's the final takeaway here?
Well, I think that $1.2 million sale, even as a single event, acts as really strong proof. Proof that the community isn't just interested in the vision, they're willing to put serious money down to support it. It demonstrates real belief and buy-in for building this decentralized future.
Yeah, the community is actually putting its money where its mouth is, funding the thing they want built.
Right. And it reinforces that core model, users holding their own keys, controlling their identity and data, creators and developers getting directly rewarded for what they contribute, building this open, free, and electric social economy.
It's just such a different incentive structure compared to the ad models we're all used to.
Totally different. And look, those challenges, engagement swings, competition, UX, scaling, they're absolutely real. They need tackling. But when you frame them against Farcaster's resources, that $150 million war chest, and their proven ability to innovate quickly with things like mini apps, it suggests they have the firepower and the runway to actually address these problems.
So the resources and the ambition seem aligned to fight those battles for adoption and long-term health.
Exactly. Ultimately, the perspective is that Farcaster isn't just tweaking social media, it's trying to rewrite the whole playbook.
Yeah.
Building that decentralized social layer, this pro-membership blitz, is seen as a major spark, a validation point for that bigger effort towards a freer, more open internet.
And the call to action we saw is pretty direct, isn't it? Cast your voice, build your mini app, and join the revolution. It's basically an invitation to actively participate in building this thing, not just sit back and use it.
Yeah, it is asking you to be a contributor, an owner, not just another user number.
Which brings us nicely to our final thought for you, the listener, to chew on after all this. How might a social platform, one funded directly by its most engaged users and the people building on top of it, how might that evolve differently? Think about its priorities, its features, its whole culture, compared to a platform funded mainly by ad dollars or traditional VC investment alone. Something to think about.